Hi, I decided to make this little video to help out people practicing Zbrush and share my thoughts on how to improve your skills using this piece of software. I want to note that I'm not a professional, I'm just starting out myself, so please don't be too critical about it. What I'm currently doing on the screen is speed sculpting a character face, and this type of exercise I find to be the most effective way of improving your skills. And I've been doing this for quite a while recently because I realized that sometimes I'm getting stuck and keep on working on some characters, sometimes for weeks, and the same character over and over, like days, and seeing it every day. And I decided that I need to allocate more time to practice and needed certain diversity in my sculpts, and I need to start working way faster at certain stages and be more efficient. And this kind of exercise, in my opinion, will help you achieve this. It surely helped me a lot. Well, you can compare this exercise to 30 seconds drawing or 5 minutes drawing when you draw pose to pose anatomy in 2D. And you can Google it up and you can search like on YouTube, like channels like Croquis Cafe that do that, and you have like 1 minute to draw a person. And the basic principle is the same here. Basically, you put a time limit when you should finish a certain character, and you're not going over that time limit at all. And that's it. You just stop sculpting. You don't sculpt and don't touch it. That's it. So particularly for this sculpt, I used the reference of a character I found online and then try to stick as close as possible to my reference. So the rule number one is you always use reference. It doesn't matter where you get it. You draw it yourself, you find a picture online or something else. Usually what I do is make a reference map on a second monitor using software called Pure Ref. It's a free software. It's really awesome. And after I got these references, I start to sculpt from a basic sphere. The rule number two is the time limit. Some guys are extremely fast and limit themselves to 30 minutes. Here in this session I've limited myself to 1 hour, and you should try and decrease this limit once you get past the stage when you can completely block out a character face in an hour or so. But what I tend to do, and I found out everybody else who is proficient in this software is doing, and I've noticed a lot of people doing wrong, is that they tend to jump to high DYNAMESH values too early. This is really important. Or they jump to high subdivision levels too early. This is completely wrong, and you shouldn't be afraid of working with large polys and like these square shapes that you see early on when you start off from a sphere. And basically what you do in the very beginning is you try to block out main shapes of your character using clay and move brush or standard brush, whatever brush you prefer, just giving the sculpt basic form at the lowest subdivision level or DYNAMESH level possible. And only when you're sure that your shape is there and it's impossible to add any detail to your sculpt, then you increase DYNAMESH resolution or subdivision levels and proceed forward and add more details. In this particular example, I work mainly with CLAYTUBES brush. It's my absolute favorite. I use it 90% of the time just because it gives you this super awesome volume. And I just use ordinary strokes and just hold Alt sometimes to shape up the volume to just of the sculpt, and it gives these awesome edges and extremely organic feel to your sculpts, and it's really good to build up the volume that you need. When I get to higher DYNAMESH resolution, I tend to use damn standard brush to add deep cavities in my sculpts. And I try to be as loose as possible with my strokes and just stop thinking, just try and do it, because there's a time limit. So basically that's all you need. And when the time is over, just hover around your sculpt and start criticizing your work. What is wrong and what is not right. Don't be too nervous that something looks off. You had only like 1 hour or like half an hour or whatever. For example, here I can see that I put too much emphasis on the face and from the front side, front view, and I didn't block out the back of the head and shoulders properly. And shape of the skull could also be better. And once you finish, Try to be very critical to your work. Don't lick your own balls and fall in love with the sculpt that you made. Keep in mind all the things that you have failed to do in your sculpt, in your previous speed sculpt, and try to transfer it to your next sculpt. Practice like this every day, or at least a couple of days per week for an hour, and in a couple of weeks you won't recognize your sculpts. So I hope this video will help you, and bye.